Good, thank you. How are you?
As I've been saying in every interview, and I will say it again, this movie is just unbelievable. Such exceptional filmmaking. For both of you, I would imagine that even though you were so involved in the process, this is one of those movies where you're not exactly sure how it's going to come together till you see the finished film. So what was your reaction when you finally saw the finished product?
I mean, it was great. I've seen the film only once, and it's always hard watching a film with yourself in it. I mean, it really is an otherworldly experience and hard to relax. And especially when you're alone, you know, it's not good. I wouldn't recommend it. So I actually prefer, if I have to see my work with an audience, because you kind of receive it through them. I get lost on what happened on the day and stuff. But in this case, you did have an idea of how it was going to happen, because, you know, there was no like going away and doing tricks after what we did on the stage on the day. You know, like there was no, oh, how do I move in and cut this part out? And, you know, it was going to go exactly per script, which is how we shot it. But yes, there is still enhancements. And I think the biggest thing would be the music and that sort of live pulse that just came at us like a Mack train, you know, that was constant building, you know, the ferocity and the desperation of that jazz theme changing and, you know, steering us in scary directions.
The first time I saw the movie, the thing that I wasn't prepared for was how Alejandro was going to so unexpectedly reflect our time. I felt like he got into all sorts of corners of my brain, all sorts of like, you know, unarticulated, subconscious thoughts. And when I watched the film for the first time, there were so many moments where I was, you know, I felt compelled almost to say, exactly. He always says that, exactly. Exactly. But I almost, you know, I almost felt to say it out loud. And the second time that I watched the film, I really identified with Michael Keaton's character in a way that I hadn't expected, because I so identified with his feelings of inadequacy. You know, and that constant little voice that sits on your shoulder, the bird, we all have our own bird. And, you know, it sits on your shoulder and...
We all have birds. Some people have weird birds, though, that say really nice good things. You know,
we were talking about that. How can you get one of those?
I can actually tell you it's your pharmacist.
Right, there you go.
That's the proper answer.
Right.
I definitely want to touch on the cinematography of the film and working with Che, who is like a god, so good. What was he like to work with, and also, how did it possibly impact your acting when you know you can't miss a mark? You have to hit these exact locations and then work with him in the movement.
He was like he was in the, you know, like on the stage with us. It was like as if it was a ballet, and sometimes you were, you know, doing the Swan Lake and falling into someone, and, you know, and he had to know exactly when to pull away and pull, you know, because it's focus and things, and, you know, narrow corridors, and I mean, it was pretty extraordinary how I don't think I've ever felt so connected to a camera operator, DP person. You know, like normally there's a separation, and he was absolutely at the center of it.
And although it doesn't look like it, when you watch the film, we were on top of each other, and Chivo's armpit was in your face. I mean, we were all right up there with each other. There were wires under our feet. We would, you know, I felt yesterday it came to me. I felt like we should rechristen Chivo Nurayev, because his footwork was so fancy on the shoot. But he was these incredible 360 shots that Alejandro had envisioned and that Chivo created, and really it wasn't possible for us to drop the ball, because not emotionally, not technically, you know, we couldn't bring less than 1,000% to every take, and there could be tens upon tens upon tens of takes. You know, 10 in, you're kind of a bit knackered. 20 in, you've sort of lost the sense of things. You know, and by 30, you've got to a place you never thought you'd be able to get to, and that's really wonderful. That's something that Alejandro, I think, inspires in people. It just, his vision is ever growing.
Totally. I have to go. Thank you both so much, and congratulations on this. Seriously, it's so